Are you ready for some football? Of course you are. We're just 15 days away from the Patriots reporting for training camp. The Pats report on July 22nd with their first practice the following day. Now, while optimism is high for many about the 2025 season, ESPN's analytics department not sharing in the excitement. They give the Pats just a 32% chance of making the playoffs. That ranks 12th among AFC teams and 25th in the NFL. And if you've been watching BST, which of course you have, you know I'm not surprised by those projections. Check it out. I like what they've done. I like the decisions that they've made in the offseason, but I'm still afraid that they're going to suck. Oh, come on. You got to have a sense of humor. All right, this is where we begin our deep dive. Michael Holley in for Trenni, filling in for her, joined by the one and only Mike Giardi from Boston Sports Journal. And we want to hear from you right off the bat. Right off the bat, ESPN giving the Pats the 12th-best chance to make the playoffs. Way too low or fair assessment? I want to know what you guys think. Vote by scanning the QR code on your screen right there. And so, Giardi, I want to know what you think. Is that too low?
I think it's too low. But
too low?
I think being the 12th best team in the AFC would be disappointing to me. But I say that, Michael, more on your side of the street in the sense that, like, I've been hovering around 7-8 wins the entirety of the offseason into the spring football stuff that we saw. Like, I haven't really moved off that yet. For me to get to 9, 10, or some of the crazy people out there with 11, 12, 13, you know who you are out there, they would have to do something quite remarkable over the course of August, which would probably include some player acquisitions, and just all of a sudden Drake Maye looks like the greatest thing since Patrick Mahomes 5-6 years ago. So, all right. So,
Bill Belichick's last year, the Patriots were, what, 4-13? They were 4-13 last year of Bill Belichick. Mm-hmm. Last year, technically, they were 4-13. Technically. But they should have had the number one pick in football, which means they were the worst team in football. The only people who wanted to win that last game last year were Giardi Mayo, were the Tennessee guys, Giardi Mayo and Joe Milton. Everybody else wanted to lose. Those guys wanted to win. So they were the worst team in football. And I know there are many examples of teams going from like non-playoff teams to making the playoffs, but I can't think of an example of a team that was the worst team in football the year before and then made the playoffs. It probably is. I just can't think of one off the top of my head, and maybe you guys can. You can say, got you. Right. Fact check me. Come on, bring it on. You can at me. I'll take it. My point is, even though the record might say 6-11, 7-10, they are going, like I said in that clip, they are going in the right direction. Like Mike Vrabel, that was a great hire. You know, some of the free agency moves that they made, Milton Williams, that's a great pickup. Carlton Davis, that's a great pickup. Stefon Diggs, and we'll talk about him later. I think these are all good things, Mike, but it doesn't necessarily translate immediately in that first year. So I was begging for them to do this last year, and then they finally did it this offseason. They basically turned over half their roster, which they needed to turn over half their roster. The problem in turning over half the roster is these guys have to figure each other out. And yes, Mike Vrabel brought in some of the Tennessee guys. You have a Jack Gibbons type. Spillane was with him at the very beginning of Tennessee, although he blossomed as a player in Vegas. So he has some sort of like, hey, this is how we do business. But I think it's going to take a little while for them to actually understand what Mike wants, what Josh McDaniels wants offensively, and from all accounts, even though they said they've dumbed it down, doesn't appear like the offense really has been dumbed down. So there's that part of the equation as well. And Terrell Williams, their defensive coordinator, I know Mike's a defensive guy. Terrell, the DC, hasn't been here for 2 months. And he is, the word on the street is he's going to be back in time for training camp, which is great news. Really, you know, Terrell's earned this opportunity, so nice to have him get it. But, like, now he's got to integrate himself in with the group. It's not Zoom anymore. You're going to be face-to-face with this whole team. All right, Giardi, if the Pats are going to make the playoffs, they'll need a big year from this guy, Drake Maye. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler over the weekend, citing a team source who said, quote, Maye looks like an NFL quarterback now. That's a hilarious quote to me. Everything is calm and collected. Fowler adding the Pats are ready for a year to jump from their second-year quarterback. That leads to a game of playing the percentages. Giardi, what are the chances Drake Maye makes the year 2 leap this season?
I'm going to say 63%.
Yeah. Why 63?
I don't know.
Okay, 63.
It's 63.
Sounds good.
It came to me.
63%.
So I think he has all the tools. But Mike, I was because of my past experience, I have some connections, and I talked to 3 different defensive coordinators that faced him last year. 2 of them will face him again this year. And one comment really stood out to me. I said, what did you think the first time that you played Drake? And this guy said, well, we knew that he was a really talented, athlete, but we didn't think he could solve problems. And that's not uncommon for rookies, right?
Yeah, right.
So I said to him, what did you think after you played him? He said, we think he's even better athlete than we thought he was. We still don't think he can solve problems. And I think if you talk to the people in North Carolina, they felt like he did a good job of that with the Tar Heels. This is a different level. He's going to see different stuff. Now there's more tape on him. Just, he has tape on them as well. But, I'm curious if that part of his game can be unlocked by Josh McDaniels, because I think Josh is going to demand that he has that. And that, to me, is a big part of taking that next step.
No, that's fascinating. I think that's great insight, and it really speaks to what some of the issues were for Drake Maye before the draft. That's what a lot of people said about him. Mm-hmm. Really talented guy. There were some scouts who really, if you look back, there's some scouts who like Drake Maye better than anybody, including Caleb Williams, including Jaden Daniels going into the 2024 draft. I'm going to say 83%.
Ooh.
You say 63, I'm going to go 83%. Okay. Because of the guys I just mentioned. So Jaden Daniels is a full 2 years older than Drake Maye. And so I don't think the year 2 leap is going to be as dramatic for Jaden Daniels because he played so much freaking college football. You know where the year 2 leap happened for him? At LSU.
Right.
He was in college. Bo Nix played a ton of college football. These guys, I looked it up the other day. This will blow your mind. So Bo Nix played, I think, 61 college games. 62 college games. Patrick Mahomes played 32. So like almost 30 more games before you go into the league. So where the year 2 leap used to happen, it was because these guys didn't play that much in college. They go to the pros, they play their rookie year, they learn things their rookie year, and then year 2, they go up there. Well, that already happened for, I think, Daniels. It already happened for Bo Nix. Both of those guys went to the playoffs. I think it happens now for Drake Maye because now he hasn't played that much football.
I would feel better about it if he was in the same offense. And I know that people had a lot of beef with last year's offense. I just think it may take a little while for him to get that comfort. It might be the second half of the year before you see the guy that everybody, I think, around here thinks is in there.
All right, let's take a look at the beautiful Ford big board, built for America, built for Ford Tough, ESPN polled NFL executives, coaches, and scouts to determine the top 10 running backs of 2025. No surprise, Saquon Barkley headlining the list. One player you won't see, Rhamondre Stevenson. In fact, 21 different running backs received at least one vote, and Stevenson was not one of them. Giardi, we're going to play the percentages again. Chances Rhamondre Stevenson is on the Patriots' Week 1 roster. Keep in mind, they can save $4 million in cap space if they trade him.
I could care less about the cap space.
You don't care about that?
Does not matter. They could sign. They could trade for T.J. Watt or Trey Hendrickson,
and they got
give him the big extension, and still have a ton of money. 88% that he's still on the roster. I just think, based on Mike's history and the way he kind of likes his offenses, and then Josh does like his running backs, even though, obviously had Tom Brady, that having all 3 of those guys, Trevion Henderson and Antonio Gibson, along with Rhamondre Stevenson to start the year, again, there's no harm in it. I think maybe, just maybe, from watching Stevenson for what brief time we got to see him this spring, that he was in better shape than he's been. And he had a tough offseason. Father passed away, those sorts of things. But, I don't know. I still think there's that 2022 Rhamondre in there who was a battering ram and snatched souls. I want that guy around. And if it doesn't work, fine. Then you can move off one of the guys during the season.
I love your odd percentages because I'm now operating off your odd percentages. So you say 88% that he's on the roster. I'm going to go with this number, 38% that he's on the roster. 38%. Let me tell you why. Okay, this is what you've been in this game for a long time. I've been in this game for a long time. Generally, when teams start to make moves in the offseason around your position, you should get nervous. So the Patriots, we know this because they've done some great media work, and they let us know about the phone calls that they got. Teams, they had a second-round pick, and teams were just really thirsty for that second rounder that the Patriots had. They turned down a lot. I think from the Texans.
Yes,
right? The Texans.
yes. Bill would have gone backwards for sure.
Really generous offer. They wanted the Patriots' second-round pick. The Patriots said, no, we're going to take Trevion Henderson of Ohio State instead. So there's no way you turn that down for a third down back, for a specialty back. I think Henderson is going to surprise people. He's a lot more complete than people think. I think he's their guy. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to say it right now. I think he's their best running back. I think Henderson, the rookie, has carried 0 times in the NFL. I think he's the best running back on the Patriots.
Wouldn't surprise me. I know they wanted a playmaker, and at 38, they thought he was the best playmaker available. My question with him has been durability. He's been his best. In fact, his last year at Ohio State, when he split carries with Quinshon Judkins, who went 2 picks higher than he did, 36 overall, to Cleveland. So you want that. I think you want 2 guys at least.
All right, you got Gibson.
Well,
sure. You still got Gibson, who had a better year last year than Stevenson.
He did. And in fact, the year before, Ezekiel Elliott had a better year than Rhamondre Stevenson. So maybe Rhamondre's cash. I'm going to trust Mike Vrabel and say he's going to be a big part of their offense this year.
I can't wait to get to that. I can't wait to get to this. This may be my favorite story. I wish this probably should have been like the lead story. Another sign that love is dead. 1 month after going Instagram official, Cardi B has deleted all photos of Stefon Diggs from her social media accounts. Perhaps Diggs is just too focused on football right now. Let's play the percentages here, Giardi. Chances Diggs has an incident-free 2025 season now that Cardi B is apparently out of his life, at least on social media.
8%. His number with the Patriots. Look, I just think it's who he is. And I think the Bills, for several years, did a really good job of publicly or at least hiding some of his behavior, and then it started to come out, and then they had no problem sort of like, oh, yeah, well, he did walk out of the locker room. Oh, yeah, he was yelling. You saw it on the sidelines. Well, I mean, that's Steph. Like, it's not great. Like, probably should be a little bit more focused on the game. I just think it's who he is. I also think that he thinks that he's still 2021.
He's still that guy. I think he's still that number one guy.
And I don't know. I don't know that you can be at 31 going on 32 coming off a torn ACL. I know he looks great in his workout videos. It's funny how those workout videos, Mike, they never show you the passes that he drops or the times he slips when he's running or I didn't feel that great. You only see the good clips. You don't see the full hour workout.
I'm going to tell you this. Chances he has an incident-free 2025 season, 100%.
You are out of your mind.
100%. Because I'm going to tell you, I've said this before. I just want to put it out there. Cardi B, based on her song lyrics, there's just a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure she puts on a guy. If you're going to be with Cardi B, there are a lot of expectations that she expects you to meet. It's very demanding. You got football. You got a new offense. You got a new community. You can't be thinking about these things that Cardi B wants you to do. So, Steph, look, it's a little painful right now. On a Monday, I'm telling you, you're going to feel good during football season. You don't have to. Learning the playbook is enough. But some of the things that she wants you to do, Mike.
I thought she was going to be up on the hill watching practice.
Listen, some of the things she wants you to do is tougher to being on the hill. I'm sorry.
Details?
I just can't. Okay. Just check the song. Go to Genius Lyrics or whatever you want, and you'll know what I'm talking about.